girl and her cat. And where else do you put Kitty except for on top of your head?
Kitty has to watch too, right?
That's right.
We made it, but not to our original destination. Boy, it's been a rough day, honestly. We are actually in Casper, Wyoming, and we're gonna have to stay the night here tonight. We were supposed to be going to Bozeman, Montana today. That's another 6 hours away, I think, from Casper, but we're not gonna be able to make it. Long story short, my engine light and oil light came on when I was going up a pretty steep hill, and on our way from where we left this morning. And we pulled over as soon as we could and found a gas station. I checked my oil level, everything was great, the color was great. We've driven 2,200 miles since I last changed the oil, so everything looked great. I also checked my transmission fluid level, everything's great there. Checked under the car, no oil spillage or leaks. Checked really everything, and everything seemed fine. The symptoms, basically, what's happening is, basically when I'm between 0 and 2,500 RPM, the oil light starts flashing. My, kind of my dash starts to freak out. The overdrive light comes on, and the little check engine light also comes on. But as soon as I get past 2,500 RPM, around 3,000 RPM, it goes away. Which basically, when I start going up a hill and start to slow down a little bit, down to lower RPM, because it won't let me really go past 3,000 RPM. It's almost like it has a little governor on it, kind of protecting the engine. But when it gets back down to 2,500 RPM, it starts blinking and making all kinds of annoying noises. I'm able to drive it, but I know I said long story short, but basically the symptoms are making it appear like it's an oil gauge issue, the oil pressure gauge, and which really can be replaced and fixed, and we do have a warranty on it, and so it's not going to really cause any problems. After talking with some people that know a lot more than me on the phone, if anything, it was just going to make my engine slow down just to protect it, because it was sensing that the engine wasn't getting enough oil, but it appeared like it was. Just everything that I checked, it might be a sensor issue, which, hopefully it's that. Hopefully it's not a pump where the engine really isn't getting enough oil. But we made it to Casper, thankfully. Jen is in the car right now with Jocelyn. We had to pray a lot for patience, she's kind of going through the whole canceling where we were going to stay in Bozeman tonight, and thankfully we found a room in Casper, and it's Sunday, unfortunately, so none of the mechanic shops, everywhere we've called, naturally they're not open on Sunday, but they will be open early tomorrow morning, and I'm going to actually unhitch the trailer to take some pressure off the engine, and go to the closest mechanic nearby. I'm hoping I can find a Jeep dealership or Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, one of those. I haven't looked yet since I've been driving and focusing on that, because we do have warranty with our Jeep. I got the Jeep brand new actually in September, and so it doesn't have that many miles on it. So hopefully it's just a sensor, an electronic issue, and not actual engine problem. And I hope they can fix it tomorrow. And we're gonna try to make up time on the way, you know, still going to Alaska, because we really wanted to be there on the 31st, to be there before Easter. We wanted to be able to celebrate Easter, and the church that we'll be going to has an Easter event that we really wanted to be at as well. So we really wanted to try to be there, but we're having to adjust our itinerary. We appreciate positive thoughts, your prayers, but thankfully we did make it to Casper, and we're gonna stay the night here and try to get everything fixed tomorrow, Monday morning. So if the vlog is short, I'm sorry. I tried to capture some beautiful scenery we saw. Unfortunately, we couldn't really enjoy it as much because we were so focused and worried about the Jeep. On top of my parents, Chin's parents, friends and family calling and texting, give me an update, what's going on? So our phones were kind of blowing up too. But again, thank you guys for your support. And thank you for all of you that came from Live Each Day. I love to connect with you guys, get to know you, trying to keep up with your comments and questions. But appreciate all you guys coming over. We had a great time seeing the Williams family, and we're so very sad about Loki. If you haven't heard about Loki, their cat passing away yet, we're really sad about that. We had the pleasure of meeting Loki a couple times, and he was such a sweet cat. Definitely a weird cat, but definitely sweet. But really our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out to the Williams family. Losing a pet, especially after having one for so long, it's losing a friend. It's like losing a child in a sense. So we fully understand, especially being parents, and we actually lost a dog a few months ago, so we really understand. But thank you guys again for coming over, and hope you get some good coverage on our vlog going through Montana and Canada, and hopefully our Jeep will be tip-top shape. So again, thank you guys. So you see here are the lights that are popping up. The check engine light and the oil light. And then my oil pressure is sitting very low at like 2 psi. When I rev the engine, it does go up. But you see how it went, like, let's see if I can keep it at 2,000 RPM. That's when it keeps coming on when I'm actually driving, not when I'm parked. And when I go higher, it goes away and stops beeping. The engine light's still on, but it doesn't like that right there. So I'm hoping it's just a sensor issue. And again, it's like when I'm riding, it's like there's a little governor. I can't keep it above 3,000 RPM, which I was able to get it about 60, 65 miles per hour when I was on flat ground. But when I was starting to go up the hill, I mean, even the pedal to the floor, I couldn't keep it, I couldn't get it past 2,500 RPM, and on the really steep hills, I was only getting it to like 40 miles per hour. Which of course everyone was flying by me and just kept looking at me when I was going so slow. The speed limit out here is 80 miles per hour, which is really fast. Normally the fastest I see is like 65, 70 down south. But I guess when you're out in the middle of Wyoming, you can go a lot faster with not having many issues. But I was really only able to keep it between 45 and 60. But thankfully we made it, and we're going to try to keep working on an itinerary and call around to see if we can reschedule some of our bookings and hopefully get some of our money back. I did pay for some of the cancellation, free cancellation, but most of them still, some of them were 24 hours. You had a window where you had to do it for 24 hours, and some were even 48 or 72. I can't remember. We booked this a while ago, but hopefully we can get a little bit of money back and still make our deadline of March 31st of getting to Anchorage. What's Bubbly Boop from?
Don't know.
Is that from a movie?
Yeah, DuckTales.
DuckTales? Are you brushing Cassie? Gentle with her, honey.
Why?
You just don't want to scratch her or hurt her. Hey guys, wanted to give you an update. I actually remembered that I had a code reader in my car in the Jeep that I could plug in to the little port kind of underneath the dash, and it would give me any diagnostic codes. And so thankfully I had that in the Jeep, and I plugged that in, and I ended up having like 7 codes, which for any of you that love Google like I do, you can find some really awesome things on Google, but also some really scary things that typing in all these different codes into Google can be helpful, but at the same time it can say it could be this or it could be this, and it took me 4 weeks to get this fixed. And so we're really praying hard that when we go to the dealership tomorrow that they're going to be a quick fix, and it is just the oil pressure gauge or you know, an oil pump or something. Hopefully, you know, if it is the pump that they have it in stock. I'm sure if it was a gauge or a sensor they probably do, but oil pumps aren't always in stock, and hopefully if that is what it is, that they would, and that we can get out of here and, you know, get on our way and not be delayed even more and have to worry about changing our itinerary all over again, because we spent a lot of time trying to work on that today. So I'm going to post these codes down below. If anybody here, mechanics, or have any sort of advice or input or just experience or really knows much about Jeeps, please feel free to comment, let us know. Again, I did find a Jeep dealership about 5 miles away, and everything I am reading, it is okay to still drive the Jeep. And what I was describing earlier, how it kind of felt like there was a governor on it, from what I've read, that is actually normal to try to protect the engine when it thinks that something's wrong. So I'm not going to actually hurt the engine, I can still drive it. It just kind of keeps me at a very slow speed and low RPM. So hopefully the dealership can work on it tomorrow and fix it, or at least temporarily fix it by maybe eliminating the codes if it's not going to actually hurt the Jeep, and I can at least drive it for the next few days and keep resetting the codes with the little reader I have and get to Anchorage and get a permanent fix if it's a part that's not in stock. But again, thank you all for subscribing, and I'm trying to keep up with your comments. I went through a lot of them today, so I really appreciate you guys reaching out, connecting with us, and getting to know you more. But we're going to call it a night. Probably going to have a really early day to try to be the first in line at the dealership since we don't have an appointment. But thanks again, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Night.
You guys can perform, but locally, okay?
Sure.
And I promise to be a better dad from here on out.
What are you talking about, Pete? You're the best dad we could ever have.
Cool, dude.
What do you say to